As part of the EOG review, today we're going to be reviewing inequalities. So these first four problems where I have the boxes are just reviewing what each of the circles represent. And there's either less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and then just less than and greater than. So if you look at this first one, this was my example. I have on my number line a dot at 0 that's closed in. It's a little hard to see in this video, but if you look at yours, you can see that the circle is all the way closed in. So because it's closed in, it's either going to be a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So then the arrow is going this way, so that means the point of the sign is going to go the same way. Notice how this one right here is going to the left as the arrow is also going to the left. So that's why we have an x is greater than, or I'm sorry, x is less than or equal to 0, because all these numbers are less than or equal to 0. So now let's look at this one. Let's go ahead and start by just writing x. We're just going to make that our variable for right now. Then we see this circle. If you look closely, it's an open circle, so that means that we're either going to use a less than or a greater than sign. Well, look, the numbers are getting bigger in the direction of the arrow, and so we want our point to the right. So that means that this is going to be greater than. So we have x is greater than, and then you put your number where the dot is, so -2. Make sure that you're putting it where the dot is and not where the arrow ends. You always want to start where the dot is. Alright, number 3. We want to start at 1, so let's use y this time. We are going to look at the circle. We see that it's open. If you look closely, it's open, and it's going towards the left. So we want our point to go to the left, like that, and we don't need the line under it because it's an open circle. It's not including 1. It's everything less than -1, or less than +1. So we have y is less than 1. 1 is where the dot is. All the points are going to the left, so our arrow is going to point to the left, and it doesn't include 1, so that's why we don't have the line underneath of the sign, the inequality sign. Now number 4, let's use p this time. So notice the circle is closed, so we're going to use a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. And all the numbers are getting bigger. They're going to the right. So we have p is greater than or equal to, and then we want to use this number, -1. So that's how you create an inequality from a number line. Now, last part on this video is now reversing that. If we're given the inequality, how do we graph it? So if we look at this one, we have x is less than -3. Well, the easiest way to do this is go ahead and put the dot where the -3 is. So because we have a less than and not, that's the or equal to part, it's going to be an open circle on 3. And then we want it to go in the direction of the arrow because the x is on the left. So all the numbers are going to be less than -3. So we want it to go this way. Now the last one. We have -y is greater than 4. Now this one's a little tricky because we have a -y. So before we can graph it, we need to make this a positive y. So we're going to do that by dividing both sides by -1. What that's going to give us is getting rid of that negative on that side. So we have a y on this side and then a -4 on the other side. We have the y and then the -4. But what happens when we divide by a negative, if you remember from our unit a few months ago, is that the sign also switches. So it becomes y is less than or equal to -4. So everything switched in this case. The signs of the variable and the number, and then the inequality sign. So now we can graph it. So the greater than or equal to means we have a closed circle. And then the arrow, because it's also pointing to the left like it was in the previous one, means we're going to get smaller. So again, we divided by the negative to get the y, to make the y positive. When we divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, we switch the sign. And then 4 divided by -1 is just -4. And that's it.